This week on the Face Off Hockey Show, boy howdy, there was some kind of trade this week. We'll talk about that with Robertson and SpectorsHockey.net. Also, players going back to juniors, the Jets flying high, and the KHL may be out of the Olympics. We'll see about that, all that and more. It's Face Off Hockey Show right now.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Choose your command. You have chosen
the Face Off Hockey Show.
I mean, hockey is my life. I've got on hockey underwear right now.
The Face Off Hockey Show. With Scotty Waz. Sean O.
And a breakaway. Takes two things.
And the P-Boys, Johnny and Mark with the C.
Yeah, baby.
You believe it not? Yes!
Here's your host for the Face Off Hockey Show, Scotty Waz.
Hey there, hi there. Welcome to another Indeed, Scotty Waz. We'll be checking in on Johnny P shortly. There he is right there.
I'm back.
Hey, look at him, kids. He wasn't gone last week, so I don't know why we're checking on him shortly. But in any case.
Because I've always been short.
There it is. We will maybe hear from Mark with a C. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll
It's
see.
his first week back on the job after paternity leave, so he might have taken a nap and forgotten there was a show, which, fair enough. But before we get to any of that, Johnny P, last week, a scant 7 days ago, we went ahead and we started our Patreon, which you can get in on. Patreon.com/faceoffhockeyshow. And you can donate to us. Just show your appreciation in any way. We got 3 tiers. We don't care. If you want to do it, don't do it. I don't give a crap. But, Johnny, it's spread like wildfire. We've got a lot of people. And by a lot, I mean almost one a day.
Wow.
Like a multivitamin.
That's
almost
like 7.
one a day. So a shout out to those people. First and foremost, Mitch, our first patron. Shout out to him. Good dude. Met him personally. And he also was a big winner in the Soda Stream bubble. So he's 1 for 1 on those giveaways. A man called Sean Leahy. He hanging out. He definitely wants to hear Hudson's takes on the Matt Duchene trade. We may or may not get.
That's why Mark's not here.
Could be trying to wake up the kid up, trying to get some hot takes out of him.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
great.
I'm sure he's getting some hot takes right now, but it's in his diaper.
Heyo. Another shout out to Rob B, who it's funny because we're just like, we don't know this person, but thank you for listening. It's almost like when we first started a podcast or this internet radio show, who's going to listen to us? Our friends? And they did. And then more people did, and they became our friends.
Yep.
So thank you, Rob.
They told
And you're going to be we're gonna make sure you become our fast friend as per usual. Shout out to our boy Chris. He has been a loyal listener for a while and also a big supporter of the Face Off Hockey Show Hockey League. Shout out to him. Trista Ray T Rock. She's actually been on the show before.
Wow.
So she is a good egg.
I almost threw money into this tonight, actually, before the show.
You forgot I'll just throw money into there, get a shout out. And also Angela M, another person who we a listener who we do not personally know, but we hope to know sooner or later, and hope the interaction is good. And Johnny, you put it personal. You put it great about what this Patreon really is. First off, it's a terrible name.
I mean, it is what it is, right? You have to name your company something.
Right, I guess. But still, you made a good point about how this is more content for the people who give in and listener interaction.
Yeah. I like it a lot. I like getting some content from the listeners, some interaction from people. Little shout out here and there to some people. I mean, we had emails, but the emails have kind of dried. I have this live chat thing going on for anybody that's on YouTube right now watching the show. They can talk to me during the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, all in all, is what producers do.
Yes. And it's like you said, it's content and it's less content that we have to worry about. I just give you 3 topics. You pick which one's best. This week we had a tie, so I have to talk both topics. So we'll talk about that in the news.
That's a loophole in our theory.
We really haven't shut that down just yet. But hey, it's fine. It's fine. Oddly enough, the loser of that, the 3 topics were the Jets off to a hot start, or a hot middle, because the start's already happened. Some players going back to junior, and the Matt Duchene trade. Oddly enough, no one cared about the Duchene trade.
That's because they knew we were already going to talk about it.
They got their hot takery on that, so they have to get the hashtag tepid takes. So that's fine. But before we get to any of the hockey, we obviously have to get to the rest. Johnny P, how was the weekend for you, sir?
We lost in the playoffs for the 3rd consecutive season in a shootout.
This is for soccer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is for the social soccer league that I play in. Yep. And I think I'm done. I'm not playing in the winter. I might play again next spring, maybe. I don't do winter soccer anymore. It's too cold.
You're not wrong.
So that occurred this week. What else occurred? I'm playing a game of chicken right now with the heat in my house.
Oh boy.
I don't feel like turning the heat on yet, but before I came downstairs for the show, my house is at 60 degrees. So it's kind of like, who's going to give in first, the house or me?
Yeah. God.
So that's been my fun so far this week. What else have I done? I got some new cufflinks. I went on a cufflink tear.
Yeah, last week you had the photograph cufflinks.
I got a set of camera cufflinks, a set of UNC Tar Heel cufflinks.
Jesus.
Well, they were all on sale on cufflinks.com. I mean, catchy name, very easy to find.
I was going to say, kind of on the nose, don't you think? Cufflinks.com.
And then this week I went to eBay to pick up some cufflinks, and I got a set of the Maryland Quarter cufflinks. I got a set of British Pound cufflinks and a set of Italian Lira cufflinks.
Go for it, brother.
I mean, why not?
Do you, my guy? I guess my question: do you wear enough shirts that make you allow you to wear cufflinks?
I have 4 French. I have 5 French cuff shirts.
Okay, but I guess do you wear them frequently? Is that something you wear at your place of business? I suppose.
No. I don't wear them to work. God, why would I do such a thing? I do wear them though if I have to give presentations. I have to wear suits and stuff if I have to present to people, or weddings, like the death wedding that's coming up.
That's true.
I'll probably wear the British Pound. I'm thinking British Pound to go with my London suit for the death wedding.
I'm surprised he didn't try to get.
We should just add like a like $10 tier or something, and people can just dress me for the death wedding. Like I'll just put pictures out on Patreon, and they get to choose what I wear.
Limited time Patreon account. You can go ahead and.
Just for 1 month.
I'm surprised he didn't do a referee or a title belt cufflinks.
Now, what I would find hilarious is a red card and yellow card cufflink set. That would be funny, actually.
That would be pretty hilarious.
But yeah, so I went on a cufflink tear for a while. Also, I went to the doctor on Monday night. Yeah, it's a normal 6-month thingy that I go and he like checks out my nose and such. So he wants me to start taking pills of turmeric, which apparently is a spice, but is also it also is an anti-inflammatory type of thing. So I take 3 pills a day. It's like 2,250 milligrams of this. But I told one of my friends that I was starting to take turmeric, and she shows me just like a normal spice container of turmeric, and I was like, "What am I supposed to snort that? like, what do I do with that?" And then we figured out that turmeric might be like a gateway spice to like other harder spices. But then we after the soccer game on Monday night, after losing, some of my British friends that are on the team, we decided that gateway spice was a bit dodgy, and that's why they needed somebody more posh in the band. So
Good one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
that went downhill quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so allergy season has hit. You can probably tell a little nasally this week. My my sleep for the past week, I averaged 8 hours and 21 minutes of sleep
Wow.
over the past week. 2 hours and 16 minutes average deep sleep. 5 hours 53 minutes light sleep, and 12 minutes awake time.
How do they specify deep sleep?
So this is my Garmin watch that's keeping track of my sleep. So it specifies deep sleep when I'm like not moving, I guess, like at all. Now the other sleep app that I have is called
Sleep
Sleep
apnea?
Cycle.
Sleep
Sleep
apnea.
Cycle. No, that's a completely different app.
Oh.
That will actually wake me up when I stop breathing. But this app recently has has started using my microphone in order to try and keep track of if I'm like moving or not, I guess, in the middle of the night. But now this one keeps track of my snoring as well.
Oh Jesus, I'm sure that's through the goddamn roof.
It actually takes so needless to say, Wednesday nights is my worst night of sleep.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. Let me go back here. Let's see. Last night I had 4 minutes of snoring.
That seems like a goddamn lie.
Whoa, hold on.
Whoa, wow.
Interesting. Apparently the songs are still going.
That's how you snore? That's awesome.
That's pretty rad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it's a pretty dope beat.
It's interesting, isn't it? Here we go.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
See, I feel like that's tame snoring for me, though.
That
Like,
really
that
is.
That's basically me breathing.
Kinda.
That was much better snore right there.
There you go.
But so it takes
that's a
15-second samples.
That's a bit invasive.
Yeah, but I mean, so it takes 15-second samples of like owl samples.
Nice.
Let me see. There was a really bad night in here recently. Which one was it? That was only 2 minutes. I had some nights where I had 0 minutes of snoring.
Which I feel
actually,
is
it
a
looks-
goddamn lie.
It looks like 4 minutes of snoring is the worst that I've had in the past couple of weeks. 2 minutes. Let's see what this one I snored for 2 minutes, but I slept for 9 hours and 37 minutes at 100%. See, I feel like that's pretty normal for me, actually.
It just seems like you ran up the steps too quickly.
Like pretty much you want to you end up seeing what was it, Triumph, the comic dog, and he's like, which one of these buttons calls your mother to pick you up?
There you go. It seems
But yeah,
fantastic.
so the the app has gone next level. So I feel like I've got some new Snorsky stats that it actually includes snoring now.
Yeah, I know. An audio component to it. I love it.
Yeah, mic'd up.
Yeah, so I mean, we can go through that on a weekly basis at this point. So
There we go, kid. This is what you're paying your hard-earned money to.
That's right.
Appreciate
Yeah.
everything. Now, obviously, the comparison is how is that to the newest Batonzo, Hudson, in terms of Snorsky stats.
Well, he hasn't been sleeping that well.
Oh no.
So, well, he gets up like once or twice a night, which I guess is okay.
is he just walking in the bathroom by himself at this point?
That'd be nice. That would be nice. No, he still has to be changed. He just He doesn't really show that much of a desire to want to get better at things. It's really frustrating.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird to be.
He's a
By the
month
w-
into this. He should be starting to pick things up.
Yeah.
Why do they have Game Muse Puck Edge cufflinks? It seems weird.
Really, I didn't. I do have a pair of Weagle cufflinks.
Yeah, no, they have it's Game Muse. I don't know how you could tell Game Muse than not Game Muse, but whatever.
By the smell.
I guess. Anyway. So Mark's here, everybody. Mark with the C joining us. He first week back on the job after some paternity leave.
This is correct.
And here he is. He's here and he seems fantastic. We thought you might have taken a nap and then overslept, which we would have totally understood.
I wanted to.
But things are good. Obviously, our patrons request that Hudson give his in-depth analysis of this Matt Duchene trade.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see what he has to say.
And
I
by
didn't get notes.
patrons, I mean Sean Leahy. Because he said, "Yeah, f your shit, man. I'm gonna make you like."
Actually, I think Sean Leahy said that he wants to decide which Patanzo is on the show on a weekly basis.
That's also true. He's very demanding, Mr. Leahy, that he has a stock in the show. So
It's true. I mean, do we know how many shares of our show are even available? I mean, it's possible he could be he could be a majority owner at this point.
I've seen the numbers. We have a lot of stock left.
Okay.
So
Okay, good.
we have plenty of stock, almost too much stock.
I can just print more. I can print more stock if we need
That's
to.
true.
Like I have a
That is
printer
really
upstairs.
true.
Like,
We can
push
print
comes
the
to
stock.
shove, I'll just print more.
If we need to, then we can. So, but how is the first week back at work there, Mister with a C?
2 days. 2 days.
Ooh.
So far, so good. Nothing too crazy yet. Although, I'm glad that they have free coffee. I will say that free coffee is the best. But-
How is the adjustment back to being a human again?
Tough.
Yeah, I
It
bet.
is tough. Because it was crazy. Because like getting up at 6:30 when I didn't have to go to work seemed really early and disorienting because we had been up like 2 or 3 times already. But now getting up at 5:30 seems normal. But there's already so much that needs to be done. When normally I would have gotten up at 5:30 and the hardest thing was not waking Brittany up by getting in the shower. And
Right.
now that all that's out the window. So it'll be an adjustment, obviously. But I think we're doing okay so far.
It's good to hear, brother. Good to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
That has been.
That's all I got. I mean, he's super cute. He's a
Yeah,
cute
he's
kid.
adorable.
So you can't be mad at him for not trying.
It's adorable. A mazel to you and your lady there for 2 years, I believe it is.
Yes. Yep. As of earlier this week.
It also
2
coincides with the
years.
last time I was in Maryland. So
Oh. Well,
So have-
that would make sense.
yeah, so there we go.
Yeah. So that's been my week. 2 days back at the office, and then tomorrow's my last day of the week in the office, which is pretty awesome.
Nice. There we go, kids.
Mhm.
So enjoy that out of office reply from Mark with the C this coming weekend.
Mhm. Although I
man.
have a phone now, so
Oh.
I can't.
Fair enough. Man, daylight savings time sucks. Can we get rid of this? Like farmers, can we figure this whole thing out? Like what you guys are doing? Christ, like because I had to work overnight, so I got an extra hour overtime, but at what cost? I mean, sure, the second 1 o'clock was better than the first 1 o'clock, but goddamn, I don't need these 2 1 o'clocks at the same time.
What if it occurred at 3 o'clock and you were lonely?
I'll have to sing it again.
And you had 2 of them.
The 2 of them, maybe 2 3 o'clocks, and just the encore performance. It's like Chumbawamba doing Tub Thumper or whatever that song was. What was it called? I don't know. What was that song called? Tub Thumper was the
Thumping.
album.
Ah,
I
tough
think that was
thumping.
the name.
Was
Yeah.
it the name of the song too?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That was pretty terrible. Pretty terrible name. But yeah, no, that's my week was working, and then now I'm still working, and then this weekend hockey. Got a hockey weekend coming up. Johnny, your favorite coach is coming to town.
Enrico Blasi?
He's saving the queen in North Dakota, baby.
Wow.
Miami is coming to town. So Rico
I'm really
Blassi-
happy I took a picture of that sign because I have zero idea where it is.
It's probably behind the flags.
It's true, actually. It's probably with Jim Carrey
So there we go.
and the two Celtic soccer players that Jen sent me
There we go.
from the 80s.
Your whole the starting lineups, the Italian starting lineups. But yeah,
Yep.
Enrico Blassi saving the queen here in North Dakota, so that'll be fun. But good things. Mark, we were talking about the Patreon before you showed up, and lovely people.
Yeah, fantastic people.
Yeah.
Keep it coming. I mean,
We're up
it's
to-
all going right into college, Hudson's College Fund. So keep it coming.
Well,
Just
Mark's
kidding.
share.
It's
Mark's
not.
share is I'm keeping my share for my own
No,
college.
all
fund.
of it, just all of it is going into Hudson's College Fund. Although I was trying to log in to look at because we got some messages that I wanted to look at, and I don't have the password, and it's
The
not
same.
The
It's the same password.
It's not though,
It's a
because I tried using the
the
same
first letters.
password.
The first letter's a capital, brother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I logged it. It's the same bloody
All
thing.
right, I'll try it again then.
Let's try it again. Hey, let me log out just in case. And
I love how secure all of our stuff is.
Oh, that's fantastic. I hope it's the same one. I don't know. Hold on. I say that now, and I'm just like, uh oh.
Scotty's like, it's the same password I always use for everything.
Huh. Hold on. Maybe it's not the same password. Yeah, I got in. It's lowercase, not uppercase.
Oh, well then that would do it.
There we are.
Well, nope. See what happens? See, we changed it up, and now security allows people to not get in.
That's true.
There's no one in the world who would ever figure that out.
That's true. So there we are. So there we go. But Johnny, you got to cue some music up for me, brother.
I got it.
Hit me.
I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got some injuries as we go into our injury report. Carey Price, lower body injury. He is day to day, but hey, aren't we all?
Oh, that's probably not good for the Canadians.
No, but Charlie Lindgren came in, and he played pretty well. Got his first NHL shutout in the first game of the year. So he's got that going for him. So we'll see how it goes. He's a right-handed catch. We'll see how it happens there. You know how Ryan Getzlaff, how he said he'd miss at least 3 games last week because of a face injury?
Yeah.
2 months now after undergoing cheekbone surgery. So it goes from 3 games to about 30. Yeah, sounds about 2 months is about 30 games, right? I'd say close to it. Anyway, so yeah, there we go. Back on the Carey Price injury, they say it's still minor injury, but we'll see what happens there. Austin Matthews also on the injury front. He is missing his first game of his NHL career tonight against the Wild.
Oh,
It's
no.
yeah, it's going to be a upper body injury. He is day to day, but again, aren't we all? So we got the Patreon pick of the week.
Nope, can't do that. That's copyrighted.
What?
It's copyright. It's copyright.
As long as I don't do 10 seconds, I think we're good.
So stay under 10 seconds and you're good. All right.
I was good. I was like at 5.
God,
and a
if that
half.
could be a mantra for everything in life, that'd be fantastic. Doesn't matter what you do as long as it's under 10 seconds.
As long as it's under 10 seconds, then you're good to go. All right, so we had a Patreon pick of the week. And the 3 options we gave you was for our in-depth analysis would be the Matt Duchene trade, the Jets, and how hot they are in their past few in the past couple weeks here. And also, players being sent down to junior clubs and what that affects there. There was a tie. We had a tie for first. And so we're not going to talk about the Duchene trade. The other 2 stuff go forward. So here we are. Over their last 10 games, the Winnipeg Jets are 6-1-3. second place currently in the Central Division.
Nice. The Jets have finally taken off.
Hey, there he is. That's what we wanted. That's the quality we want here. And surprisingly, I guess, in terms of when you look at the other 31 teams, Mark Scheifele and Blake Wheeler are second in the league behind Steve Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov for duos with the most points.
That's nice.
So
That's good.
Blake Wheeler. It's about time Blake Wheeler got his legs under him.
it took a while for him, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he failed so many times. Like Boston, he wasn't that great. Phoenix, he was okay, and then finally now, when Winnipeg needs him, knows because this is a team.
Didn't he also start playing in the NHL when he was like 12?
Yeah, kinda. So like he's like the LeBron. Like he's been in 15 years, but he's still just over 30. So
Like, I know he left high school and he just started playing in the NHL.
it's like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? What happened? But yeah, no, overall, like these guys, and the same goes for Mark Scheifele, the guy who at the draft did not have a logo on his jersey. Goes from that to 6 years later, now being one of the top guys, I would say, almost in the NHL, an unheralded player in the NHL, Mark Scheifele.
Yeah,
hell?
he's definitely been an under the radar player.
Yeah. For the year, Scheifele and Wheeler have combined for 14 goals and 25 assists for 39 points. Granted, they're 9 points behind Stamkos and Kucherov, who have 21 and 27, thanks to Nikita Kucherov just going off to a miraculous start this year.
Gangbusters.
Gangbusters,
I believe is the official term.
Yes, I'd like that. So another reason, and probably one of the main reasons, Connor Hellebuck. You guys want to guess the record of Connor Hellebuck? I'll tell you.
All right.
8-0-2. 8
Hellebuck.
wins,
Youngin.
0 losses.
Hellebuck. If they don't do that, they're missing out on a big opportunity. They're not going to win the production Emmy if they don't.
He
they
ain't no
don't- they don't do that.
Hellebuck girl. He ain't no Hellebuck girl. His GAA is bananas, BANANAS, at a 936 this year. Goals against 2.12. That's fine. Finally,
See what happens when you finally get rid of Andre Pavlik.
yeah. Well, the funny thing is they signed Steve Mason to a 2-year deal at $4 million.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
And
but he's left-handed. He's evil. Everybody.
and
knows
he's
that.
yet to win a game. He is 0-3-1.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, he wasn't that great in Philly.
Hey, would someone consider him not that great towards the end of his Columbus run either? Steve Mason is not a good goaltender, is what we're saying, folks. But Connor Hellebuck, a guy who helped propel the U.S. to a bronze at the World Championship a couple years back.
I feel
Out
like
of nowhere.
Hellebuck is it would be something that like Dan Clemson uses in a story about shooting somebody.
it's true.
That's not wrong.
You're like, so I was out all weekend. And I saw this Hellebuck.
There you go. And here we go. Defense. Another big, healthy defensive. You know, Josh Morrissey crying, but Jacob Trouba is by his side. Toby Enstrom, Dustin Bufflin, Dmitry Kulikov, and Tyler Myers. Like this is a decent defense we got there.
Tyler
was it-
Myers, he's still around too.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't this just a team that finally needed a goaltender? Like their defense has been good for like 2 or 3 years at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, okay, so their defense has had good players for 2 or 3 years at this point.
the defense has been there. But yeah, I mean, it's just goaltending, and it's just a matter because we've always said on this show that goaltending, along with defense, the most to mature. That it takes the most time, and Connor Hellebuck finally getting to that time where it's just like, all right, he surpassed Michael Hutchinson for Pete's sake,
Holy
and
smokes.
he was in excess. So
yeah, he's
That's
had
true.
a lot of experience for sure.
and now he's just hanging around in the minors, just biding his time with the Manitoba Moose.
yeah.
So here we are. The Jets, watch out. If they can actually keep this up and stay healthy and, not falter as the Jets are wont to do, We
Well,
could
I mean,
have,
if they get to cruising altitude, I think they'll be fine.
yeah, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, Johnny, if you're going to come this hard and this fast this early in the show, I might have to leave. Like, this is too much.
Well,
It's amazing.
anything less than 10 seconds, I'm fine with.
There it is.
So we just figured out.
So there we are. There we are. The Winnipeg Jets. Be on the lookout, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
There's no holding pattern on this team anymore.
Oh, I think if the Jets continue this, we might have to get your boy back on.
My
Weather
boy.
Watcher. Yeah, your boy.
My boy. Wait, what boy is that?
Yeah, the Sidman guy. I forgot his name. Matt. That's his name?
Oh, Harding. Yes, Matt Harding.
Yeah.
The Weather Watcher guy.
The Weather Watcher
that
guy.
guy. You know,
I mean, I was
that
wearing a
dude.
tuxedo one of the times he came on the show.
That is true. You're not wrong. All right, and the next topic that won out is the news that happened this week, where first round picks, Owen Tippett and Kaylor Yamamoto, both got sent back to their respective OHL teams. Tippett going back to the Mississauga Steelheads, and Kaylor Yamamoto going to the Spokane Chiefs of the OHL and WHL proper. Now, this has not been the best year for rookies, as it were, first-year pros, because Nico Hischier went first overall. I haven't heard a couple things out of him, not too much that I've heard of. I don't know how much you guys have been on top of things, but I don't see him lighting up the scoreboard like an Alex Ovechkin or an Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid of that ilk. Same goes with Nolan Patrick. I'm surprised Nolan Patrick hasn't been given the heave-ho back down to Brandon, although he is of porcelain, so who knows what the hell that's going to happen there.
But he got into a fight.
Yeah, and these things, first off, he shouldn't. Why did he do that? That was silly. So I guess the question is, is this a good decision by the teams who give hope, and I'm sure there's fans out there, well, at least Oiler fans who love Yamamoto. Whether or not it's a good thing, because Florida Panther fans, I'm pretty sure, couldn't care less about Owen Tippett if he stays or if he goes. All they know is they have an Army man as their owner. But is this good, bad, or indifferent? And second, it also raises the question if they need to raise the draft age as well.
I feel like every once in a while, I feel like I'm going to say 5 years-ish, we go through this same topic of should the draft age be raised to 20 with the availability of having like a exemption, right? Or something for people that are just exemplary and coming into the league at 18. I don't know. I feel like I'd love to see how that changes the league.
I feel like there's an easy way around this, and that is if you choose to enter the draft, you forfeit the remainder of your college or junior career. I mean, that's what the NFL does. That's what the NBA does. I don't see why the NHL needs to be any different. I get wanting to, own the rights to these players and then put them back in a development where they're going to do their best and play against players their own age. But the fact is, if they're entering the draft, they're starting their professional career. Therefore, they are forfeiting the rest of their amateur career. I mean, juniors are kind of a gray area between amateurs and professional. College is purely amateur. So if you're getting drafted, it's happened too many times that players get drafted and then they're eligible. The rights to the team holding their rights loses their rights, and then they have to get signed as a free agent. I mean, it happens every year. In baseball, it happens all the time too. I don't know why they do it in baseball as well, but I mean, whatever. Baseball seems to work because there's no other place for them to play other than college or a professional league. So,
well, with college, like you have like that happens there, where if they go into the classroom, their rights are no longer held, because that's what happened with Tex. Is that the Red Sox picked him in like the 7th round. He went to Georgia Tech, so immediately his rights were revoked. So Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's. I think that the easy way to solve this problem would be if the player chooses to enter the NHL draft, they're forfeiting the rest of their amateur career.
Hockey is an odd situation, and I like that. That's a decent idea. I hadn't even thought about that before. The biggest thing, however, is that the weird thing with the CHL and which is major juniors as a whole, is that there's an agreement with the NHL in place, unlike any other. Because hockey, I think, outside of maybe baseball and the Dominican leagues, you don't have another developmental round outside of college in most of these sports, if I'm not mistaken. Unless you come from Europe for basketball, but football it's straight college. Basketball, by and large, is college. Hockey has that college aspect, and they still have eligibility because they don't technically sign with an agent. So, like Shane Gersich here in North Dakota, he's property of the Caps, but since he hasn't signed with an agent and he's still in college and he paid his way to go to development, like the NCAA is like, this is fine. This is perfect. But and with the CHL,
see here.
Exactly, the CHL and also in part the AHL, where the AHL has an age limit of 20 years old. A lot of these kids have to go back to the CHL. They don't have the ability to go to the AHL right after this. It's an odd situation where there's an agreement where if they're under 20 years old, the CHL teams are like, we need this kid back, or we want this kid back, but he still gets paid X amount of dollars from his NHL team. Because the major junior is not amateur. It's a business. It's a big business. The players are getting screwed big time, and they need to form a union. Maybe not George Laraque at the helm, but somebody else. So yeah, I mean, I like the idea of if you go if you declare for the NHL draft, you give up your amateur status or your junior status. I think that would keep a lot of kids staying in junior until they were 20. I like that idea, Mark. Good work. Yeah. There we go. Anything else? Anybody? Bueller? All right, there we go.
Doesn't at this point doesn't that count as one of your doesn't that count against his entry level draft or entry level contract? Because he's already passed 10 games.
Yes. So that 1 year is already up on his entry level deal, but he doesn't use that year of service because that's 40 games, I think. Because the peak age is 9 games, and then that burns a year of his contract, but he still has remained under restricted free agency, so he doesn't go early as a free agent. So
we do have the live chat is blowing up right now, by the way.
Wow, questions.
We have a topical question right now, and then I will go back to some other. What if they turned a smaller minor league team into a developmental league? For these younger players,
I think that'd be interesting. If you actually did the true thing like baseball does, where there's a single A, double A, triple A. Like if you start off with they have, if they're drafted, they have to go to the SPHL, or they go back to major junior, and then their rights are relinquished, like almost like a baseball thing, where if you step back, then you have to you're back in the draft, and that team no longer owns your rights. That would be interesting too, to see if that happened. I don't know if you can make that happen, because then you have to go ahead and have
where does the money come from for that?
That's true too. Like, because then the NHL would kind of have to feed into this system, and then you have to have like a governing body for the minor leagues as well. They have their own players association throughout all the minor leagues, but at the same time, you have to convince these kids that the ECHL is the way to go, or the SPHL or the AHL is fine, but like these lower leagues, you have to convince them that that's good for them monetarily.
Well, I would say that some of the lower leagues probably will make money out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could have a league like the SPHL that, I mean, that is what it is.
I would love to see the numbers of how NFL for me, or is that did Jen take a tumble outside? Anyway, I would like to see the numbers in Potomac or like the lower levels where Bryce Harper played. Like, because if the number, he went to single A. Like, I would love to see the attendance numbers and the money numbers that these teams earned because of a hot. Could you imagine Connor McDavid playing for the Bakersfield Condors or the Tulsa Oilers? Like some of these lower teams.
But okay, so I think that I would say that that Bryce Harper is probably a good comparison, because Bryce Harper was touted as the second coming of Christ when he was coming out of high school.
Not when he was still in high school, even.
Yeah, so people would have actually gone to watch him, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like some of the kids right now that we're talking about, like nobody knows about them.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
They'd be draws for any fans to just randomly show up to these games. You know, like that doesn't bring people into the seats. I don't know. And so here's the other interesting part of very interesting part of this entire conversation, right? Is if that occurs in the situation where a minor league, I guess, becomes a developmental league type thing, that destroys major junior hockey. That destroys the NCAA. Like you're literally taking the best players out of all of them and putting them into another league somewhere else.
I would say that destroys the business of major juniors. I kind of disagree with college, with the NCAA, because I don't see a lot of top tier with the exception of a couple. Like a lot of those kids come out. Like look at Eichel. Eichel played 1 year in college and then boom, he was done. Didn't really hurt Boston that much. I think what would hurt college hockey is if you do the thing where if the kids declare for the draft, then they leave and they can't come back. Like that would really kill a lot of the talent in NCAA hockey right there.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have a Clayton Keller playing for BU you wouldn't have a Tyson Jost or a Brock. By the way, Brock Besser, my God, he's playing fantastic.
Brock
Besser. I think it's just that would kill a lot of things there too. So, college hockey could have a little bit of a thing if it's like, well, if you commit, you can't go back to college.
So the other thought that came up on here, remember when we were talking about Carolina attendance recently?
Yes.
Brian picked up some sweet tickets. They were tickets
Sweet tickets.
Yeah, some sweet tickets to the Hurricanes-Panthers game. There may have been 6,000 people there, he says.
Again, another.
Apparently, the woes are continuing.
And I'm I'm friends with Brian on the Face Bouquet. And that's another Tuesday. Carolina needs to stop having Tuesday games, first and foremost.
Yeah, but they have to deconflict with all the other tech. Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. By the way, Mark, brilliant tech support they gave you.
Great.
You're doing fine, though. I love the kid. There. He's chomping at the bit, Johnny. He is chomping at the bit.
Let him on. Let him talk about Matt Duchene.
All right, Matt Duchene. Matt Duchene traded to the Ottawa Senators. Kyle Turris traded to the Nashville Predators, and Andrew Hammond picks and prospects sent to Colorado in the vaulted 3-way dance of a deal. Now, obviously, by popular demand, Hudson, the littlest P, he is ready for the hot takery that is the Matt Duchene trade. Now, I guess we go here, Mr. Hudson. Your thoughts and ideas on Matt Duchene finally getting out of Colorado?
No? Nothing? Nothing.
Bless you.
That was a sneeze at the end there, though. That was good.
He's so enraged with this trade that he cannot get the words out, or he's making the fattest mixtape I've seen in a while.
No, he was doing a little beatboxing. From
He
what
was.
I
I loved it. It was great.
And
It was adorable.
I also feel like he. I mean, if we could tell what newborns were talking about through the sounds that they make, I feel like he was talking about how some of these picks and prospects may be playing in the league with him.
That's true.
When he gets there,
It's very true.
Because they're that far off.
He's very concerned about the rest of Deshane's career.
Yeah, don't worry, kid. I feel that way when I come on the show too. Feel gassy at times, mostly because I just eat beforehand. Well, there you go. Sean. Oh no, oh poor guy. Poor guy. I love that family picture earlier too. By the way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Good job. Good work, you two.
Thank you. I took it myself.
Nice, attaboy.
Not really.
Way to go. Way to go. Way to set that timer.
That'd be impossible.
He's very alert now.
He's alert. He's
Yes, he
awake.
is. We're trying not to have him be so alert.
Okay. Well, should we let you go take care of that?
Perhaps.
Okay, go ahead. We'll pick up where he leaves off in terms
Okay.
of the hot takery.
He got some good talking in.
I did. I like that. Sean Leahy better like that. He got what he wanted. He got his money's worth.
He got his $2 worth of Hudson.
Hey, listen. 10 cents is 3. I don't know what that means.
Me and the bottle makes 3.
There it is. So Matt Duchene to Ottawa, the long nightmare is over, and he snuck out the best way possible too, which was when his teammate gets injured, he sneaks off the ice with him as he gets traded. The
was amazing.
Also, another great part of this is his first game as a Senator will be against the Avalanche in Sweden, as that's apparently the Sweden games are happening this weekend. Friday at 2:00 and Saturday at 1:00 Eastern time if you're scoring at home or even if you're alone. So a little afternoon hockey for you this weekend on NHL Network. Kyle Turris gets out of Ottawa. There was a little bit of conflict there with contract extension and things of that ilk, and he's gone to Nashville. And then they promptly signed him to a 6-year, $36 million contract extension. So he is locked up for another 6 years. Andrew Hammond and a who's who of who cares goes back to the Colorado Avalanche after hours of people not knowing what the hell was going on with this trade because everyone thought that the Avalanche just got rid of him for no reason whatsoever and they get nothing in return. So by and large, here we are. So let me see if I can find the who he gets. So it's Shane Bowers, who is a top prospect.
He's probably fantastic in the low post.
He is. He's got a great wingspan. He is currently playing for the Boston Terriers. He is. He was a part of that deal. He was picked. Where was he picked? 28th overall, first round pick by the Ottawa Senators this past draft in 2017. So there's that. Another pick. 2 prospects going the other way from Nashville. A top 10 protected first round pick in 2018 going from the Senators and a 3rd round pick from 2019. And those are all going to Colorado. So Colorado makes out with the bulk of it. The question is now, who made out with the goods? Is Matt Duchene really worth having a 3-way deal for? Is Kyle Turris going to be great up the middle for an already deep up the middle team like Nashville? Is Andrew Hammond? The questions are these. Like your thoughts on this trade, Johnny. How you thought this all came to be? How do you think this all pulled off? Is Joe Sakic better than cardboard cutout Greg Sherman?
I really like. First of all, I really like whenever anyone cusses in our live chat. I have to say that whether or not I can show the comment. I really like how this was dead on, what was it, Friday night?
Yeah.
Everybody was like, there's a deal in place. we have 3 teams. Everything's going to be amazing. This is going to be fantastic. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen, people. Didn't happen. And then Monday, they were like, nope, just kidding. Everything's back on.
Actually, it was Sunday the deal happened, which is even better. A
Sunday.
Sunday night game.
I probably saw it on Monday.
That's fine.
But long story short, I mean, I guess the Avalanche got rid of Duchesne and they waited long enough that they got something in return, right? Kyle Turris, apparently, from what I read, never talked to the Senators about a 6-year deal at all. So apparently he didn't want to stay there anyway.
Yeah.
And the Avalanche just got a whole bunch of prizes, for lack of an easier way to say it. I mean, it's basically like the claw game, right? Like you put it down and you hope that you get something cool. Unless these drafts coming up are something that like we haven't heard about, like there's some kind of can't miss kid going on in here. I don't know what the Avalanche is getting out of this. Maybe, I mean, they can rebuild their team. They could be like the Oilers if they have 14 first-round picks. That's actually probably a lot. That's too much. But you get what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't get it. At some point, you actually have to use those for something good.
Sure.
I guess like it's cool. It's all well and good to have a bunch of picks, but if you get nothing out of it, then
so the prospects that the Avalanche got, Samuel Girard. He is. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's from the Nashville Predators. He's coming off back-to-back 70-point seasons with the Shawinigan Cataract of the Kumja as a defenseman. Back-to-back 60-plus assists in those times. Played 5 games for the Predators this year so far, a goal and 2 assists. So he is going to be a building block for that blue line if they use him properly, of course. The other one from Nashville going the other way is Vladislav Kamenev. He is a former second-round pick. Played in Metallurg in the KHL, then played for Milwaukee, 51 points last season in 70 games. This year with the Milwaukee Admirals in 10 games, 3 goals and 5 assists. And the funniest thing about this is that Andrew Hammond, the goaltender in this deal, is being loaned out, not even sent to San Antonio in the AHL. He's being loaned out and staying in Belleville with the Senators farm team as the Avalanche think about trading him elsewhere. So they're going to try to flip a goalie.
Don't they just hold on to him for a while, and then when Varlamov's groin blows up, they have something?
Well, that's always a thing that can happen. I'm all for that. But apparently they're not. So here we are as a people. So we'll talk a little bit more about that when Lauritsen comes on here in a couple minutes. But before that, we have to talk about this. And I'm sure, by the way, last week, Johnny, great eye on Matthew Barzal. Big game, 5 assists in one game this past week for the Islanders, blowing up. So, I mean, Barzal.
I see talent. I know it.
Johnny has an eye. He has an eye for talent. So Barzal just all about that base. No trouble. Here we go. Johnny, you've wanted it. You've got it. Russia's participation in Olympic hockey in question, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently,
was this part of the report that just came out about screwing up the United States? Or no?
No, it has sadly nothing to do with that.
Okay.
According to the IOC, as many as 20 Western-based national anti-doping committees and some IOC members are believed to be pushing for the ban of all Russian athletes from the upcoming games. And fears will rise in international hockey circles that a ban could be coming, meaning that Russia would not be able to participate in hockey or any other games. So,
well, I mean, this all stems from the last Olympics, right? Or no, 2 Olympics ago, really.
Yeah.
The last Winter Olympics.
Sochi.
Yeah, when they were like, there was organized doping going on.
Yeah, well, these things happen. So yeah, I mean, this very possibly could.
By the way, it's effectively taking me almost an hour right now to put together all the NCAA teams and find out what the what the limits or what the characters are for their first name or for their name and mascot. I'm still doing it. That's why I'm sitting up close here for the people watching. I'm working on a Google spreadsheet at the same time.
That's tremendous. Anyway, so there we go. Russia could not be, maybe not in the Olympic hockey. Speaking of Russians, it seems that Vladimir Shipachev it might retire from the NHL just so he doesn't have to pay back his bonus. And then he'll retire
like
from
you
the
can't do
NHL. Somehow, some way, he might be able
I have
to.
a feeling that like he won't be able to leave the country. Like this will be the first time in the history of the NHL where a Russian player actually defects back to Russia in the middle of the night.
Exactly, it's amazing. Had him in like code exchange or something. So yeah, he's apparently there's reports out he might retire from the NHL just so he can keep his monies. Whatever. Speaking of Russia,
I still think our thought from I don't remember who it was last week was just like, what if he says, "Hey, I don't have the money anymore."
I think that was you actually.
No, it was definitely in the live chat. I just repeated it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the live chat tonight, and I have to like try and keep it under control.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, we've got 5 people watching right now, and 3 of them are in the live chat. This is amazing. This is the best show ever.
Let's be a little civil here, people. We're all friends here. We're all friends. We'll make this happen. Any case. Also, more NHL.
Okay, they're civil. They're civil. It's just too much for me to handle right now.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now we get ourselves a Russian report where Alex Ovechkin is starting stuff with Vladimir Putin. He wants Vladimir Putin to win presidency for life. So, and he doesn't want to be all political man or anything. So good for him. Good for Ovechkin putting his neck out there in DC with his good buddy Vladimir Putin. Also, shout out to Andrew Cogliano. He's not a patron, but he is the 4th player to play 800 straight games in the NHL. So congratulations to him. He is going to have to definitely turn it up because Ryan Getzlaf now out forever. So congratulations to him. Now we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Lyle Richardson. He is here. We're going to break down some stuff. But first, Lyle, trivia question for you, and trivia question for the entire room, including the young child who is no longer there.
Fire away.
So I said Andrew Cogliano, 4th player in NHL history to play 800 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the other 3?
I can name the leader.
Okay, name the Kevin Nash of this NWO Wolfpack of consecutive games.
Doug Jarvis is the all-time leader in consecutive games. The other 2, they elude me at the moment, but I remember Dougie Jarvis being.
Dougie Jarvis is the number 1.
900 plus games.
964.
That's the magic number. Yes.
That's actually amazing to me that somebody can play 800 games
in this day
without getting injured consecutively.
Yeah.
I know this is wrong, but I have a feeling that Phil Housley played a lot of games consecutively.
He did not. He is not on this list.
Who are the other 2, my friend?
Really?
Gary Unger at 914.
Gary Unger. I was.
And Steve Larmer. 884.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
not have expected Gary for Steve Larmer.
Yeah,
not have expected him.
Cogliano, but yeah, I mean that's to Johnny's point though. I mean it's impressive in today's game. I'm not saying that in 30, 40 years ago that the game was a cakewalk by any stretch, but given just how the game has progressed in the last 20, 25 years since Steve Larmer last played. He retired, I believe, in the early 90s. Dougie Jarvis, I mean, he packed it in, I believe, sometime in the late 80s. So Gary Unger, early 80s, I think. So you look at how far the game's advanced, and then the fact that Cogliano has made it 800 games, that is impressive.
It is. I am impressed. Good for him. Congratulations.
Well, that also says that he has to be decently good, right? Like,
Oh,
you don't
God,
just
yeah.
play 800 consecutive games
You
just to
don't-
do it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like you had to have been good enough to be on these teams the entire time. You had to have been good enough to be in the lineup every single night. You had to be good enough to. Crap! There's more than one team. Oh God. Sorry.
Wait, what was
he-
that? Hold on.
And to play this style of game as well. I mean, he
Yeah.
plays a two-way style. I mean, you know, he's one of the, I would say, one of the better defensive forwards in the game.
The fact he hasn't won more Selkies is amazing.
Well, there have been better. Let's be honest. For one thing, and for another, the Selke tends to go to centers more than anything else. He's exclusively left wing, but. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's only played with two teams his entire NHL career. Started with Edmonton.
Yeah, I think just
And
Edmonton and Anaheim.
Then with the Ducks. That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but still, he is one of the better defensive forwards in the game and has a decent offensive touch as well. So, yeah, I mean, props to him. I mean, he definitely has the dental work to show for it, or lack thereof. Yeah, those choppers have taken a couple of pucks and sticks.
And a kid who's as a college kid too, play at UMich.
There you go.
Michigan. Go Wolverines. I don't know. Johnny, why did you say there's more than two teams?
There's there's more than one team in NCAA where the school and the mascot are exactly the same.
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to call for evasive measures tonight to figure out something new.
FYI, Lyle, while we're talking to you and maybe getting questions ready for you, we're doing the NCAA this week as the Pick'em segment because I promised that to myself. So, and the WHL is playing Russia in that Canada-Russia series.
Gotcha.
So there we go. It's the perfect time to get all up into your NCAA action. But Lyle, obviously the biggest trade of the week, Matt Duchene finally getting out of Dodge. Like Johnny said, the deal was dead, and then 24 hours later, the deal is alive and kicking. And a very rare three-way dance we see here.
Indeed. Very, very rare.
A good option, a good placement for everyone involved?
I would say so. Not only is it a rare three-way trade, but it's one of the even rarer ones where it could work out. It could work out well for everybody. You know, I think it definitely a much more immediate impact, obviously, for the Senators and the Nashville Predators. Both of them getting NHL ready centers right away that can definitely positively affect their rosters. I mean, you know, the Sens getting Duchene. I mean, he's a better offensive forward, obviously, and I think he's going to benefit from having Erik Karlsson back down his blue line, feeding him passes. I definitely think that's going to help. He's also going to have a little bit more experience, depth to play with than what he had for all those years in Colorado. Turris, on the other hand, I mean, he'll fit in better, I think, with not that he was a bad fit with the Sens, but I think he's going to fit in quite well with the Predators as their second line center. He's going to give them additional depth. Plus, he plays a very responsible defensive game as well. So a good fit there. It's obvious. I think it's obvious the Sens and Preds are all in for this season and next for sure. Well, the Preds are all in for now and 6 more seasons after this because they re-signed Turris to a 6-year deal. Duchene's got 1 more season left on his contract after this one, but Sens GM Pierre Dorion seems pretty optimistic that he can re-sign him. So I would not be surprised to see him re-sign next summer. You know, when he's within that year that he can be re-signed. It'll be interesting to see how much he gets paid, but you know, maybe a 6 or 7 year deal for him. Probably definitely north of $6 million per what he's currently making. How much further north? Well, that's going to depend. But for those two clubs, instant gratification.
Sure. Better GM, Joe Sakic, cardboard cutout of Greg Sherman.
I'd say right now, Joe Sakic silenced a lot of doubters, myself included. I thought that he was. I honestly, I was in the camp that thought that he was just being kind of foolish, that he was being too stubborn, waiting for a big return that I didn't think it was possible for him to get. But good Lord, you know, I mean, you described what the return was, I believe, earlier. You know, with just the young players that he's getting. I like Girard. He's shown some promise there already in his brief 5-game stint with the Preds, but he did not look out of place. You know, they've got a couple of promising kids there coming in. Bowers being one of the better of the two. A couple of draft picks for next season. One from the Preds, one from the Sens. Yeah, plus another draft pick, I believe another second rounder, correct me if I'm wrong, in 2018.
Third rounder.
And
2019, I believe.
And they get a you're correct, sir, 2019. And they get a third string goalie in Andrew Hammond that it looks like they're trying to flip is to get a return as well. So I would say Joe Sakic, he definitely got quantity with this return. Time will tell if he gets quality out of it. Yeah. But looking at the pieces there, though, that he does have, the potential is definitely there to get a couple of good players come out of it.
And I think if Girard makes out, then I think he held his own in his trade.
If Girard blossoms into a quality top 4 defenseman, then yeah, then at least you could call that even. But I think there is potential there for him to get more out of it than that. You know,
whether he was good at Liverpool.
But yeah, well, he was good at Liverpool.
It's true.
Yes, past tense, Johnny. He don't play for Liverpool no more, but he did for many years. 2005, well remembered.
Ryan would also like to tell you Happy Veterans Day, Lyle.
Oh well, thank you. I will
from our live chat.
Yes, thank you very much.
And Happy Veterans Day to you, Lyle, and to you, Brian. Brian is also a former serviceman,
Marine, I believe.
Yes,
former Marine. Yes.
So there you go.
And yes, yep. Somber Remembrance Day for all of us on this Saturday coming. But yeah,
there we are.
Here we are.
So now with Duchesne off the board, next biggest name, John Tavares. Are you all agree?
I'm not jumping on that Tavares.
John Tavares on the board. We got John Tavares. I get some takers on John Tavares on the board.
Not yet. Oh, there would be a lot of takers if he were on.
I'm talking about now. Like if we can start the rumor mill more so now.
I would love to start a John Tavares trade rumor, but it just won't hold water at this point right now. It just.
If I had more than 112 listeners or viewers or whatever the hell they're called on Twitter, I would start it right now.
Oh, I would too, but unfortunately, I have this thing called a reputation that I have to protect.
Well, no, you don't have to start it. I'll start it. I just won't have anybody that sees it.
And what you do, Lyle, is you quote retweet and say, "Wow, big if true," and then there you go.
Big if true. Yes, from my pal, my Face-Off Hockey Show insider, Johnny P.
I could say that there's a good source that says that Tavares, without a stadium deal in Belmont, will be leaving the Islanders. My good source might be Hudson.
Well, here's the thing. What we need to do is have Johnny put in his Twitter profile the Face-Off Hockey Show insider, and then in parentheses go insider. I hardly know her. And then we go from there. Who
earns? There. Bazinga.
Patreon.com/Faceoff Hockey Show to contribute to this fine majesty of a show.
This fine majesty of a show.
We've got tiers, people. It doesn't matter if you want to or you don't. You're fine. Just throw
tiers.
Yeah, we have
like
tiers.
Crying?
We have kind of. When you listen to this show, you're always laughing.
What, are you saying the show's kind of like going to be a crying game? Is that what you're saying?
I think the show's a cry for help.
Or crying shame. That's it. Crying shame.
I was going to say crying game. Who is the transvestite?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Lyle.
I'll go there. I'm comfortable in my sexuality. I don't care.
Sure, no, that's what they all say.
That's when YouTube doesn't allow us to come back on.
They were on YouPorn. It's really weird.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Face-Off Hockey Show exclusively on YouPorn. Yeah.
There's actually a live debate going on in the live chat right now on where Tavares could go.
Oh my God.
What are the options?
Pick any of the 30 other NHL teams.
Toronto.
No. Right off the bat, rule out Toronto. No, I can tell you right now, no to Toronto. Absolutely not. that would be a waste of time. Toronto does not need John Tavares. Period. Full stop. It would be.
But we're not
waste
talking about
of money.
need, Lyle.
Oh,
Right,
well.
we're talking about just rampant rumor
business.
mills.
Oh, well, hell.
This is Toronto.
Toronto, sure. Why not?
Lyle, this is the Face Off Hockey Show. It is baseless rumor central. So Toronto,
That
where
should
else
be
we got? John?
I could say not on my watch, but no, I'll play along, of course.
I'm not even wearing a watch.
Yeah, exactly. Where else do we have aside from Toronto?
Montreal.
Johnny,
I
on
have,
that.
no, well, we also had the Caps in the mix here.
Yeah, right.
Sure,
I
why
wish.
not? Why not? They don't have enough centers. Backstrom and Kuznetsov, they don't have enough centers.
That's
They could,
fine.
I could see Tavares sliding in there nicely for the Caps as a third line center. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be good. Pay all that cash.
Yeah, and it'll only cost you $12 million per season.
Is it
That's
is
fine.
it weird that I want to? Is it weird I want to pick Couch? Is it weird that I want to pick Couch?
actually,
Okay.
that is the wise pick right now when Tavares trade rumors. Pick
Trade to
Couch.
his couch. He just holds out the rest of the season so he doesn't get
Just-
hurt.
Just yeah. No, I would say kind of magic 8-ball this one 3 months for 3 months later.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
we
Future
just
uncertain
brought in
ask again later.
we brought in a left field for Arizona Coyotes now as well.
Ooh, actually,
That wouldn't be a
well,
bad.
that's a long shot, but my God, they could use him.
And God, do they have the cap space?
Oh boy, howdy! And a
Christ.
couple of good wingers for him to play alongside him. Max Domi and Clayton Keller.
Look, if Keller doesn't, I understand we're early in the year. Clayton Keller could be our second half winner already because I don't think anybody in their right mind had him in the discussion for Rookie of the Year this year.
No, well, I had mentioned him as like one of my top 10, but I
also ran.
But I wasn't thinking of it. Yeah, but I wasn't thinking of him. For me, I thought it would have been. I was looking at Hisshire. I was looking at Will Butcher. Butcher especially based on the college experience. And I mean, he looks. He just looked really, really good. I'm not surprised. By the way, that he's playing as well as he is.
No.
He still has some parts of his game he's got to refine, but he's still playing well. But Keller, I think I put him in my top 5. But
Well, I think he gets consideration.
oh yeah. But this kid is just fantastic right now. And I mean, again, as you said, of course, it's only early. We're only 5-6 weeks into the season. It's a long way to go here yet. But my God, I mean, the kid, he's the Coyotes' leading scorer by a wide margin. He's among the top 5, I believe, in goal scoring. He's among the top 15 in points in the league. I mean, the kid's having if he keeps playing as well as he is, he could be probably, well, not only would he win the Calder, but I think he'd be probably among the least heralded Calder Trophy winners because of where he played. And I'm not saying this to beat up on Arizona, on the Coyotes, anything like that, but just they're off to such a god-awful start. After there was all this hype that, hey, this season they could really start to turn around. They got a new coach in there. They shored up their defense. They brought in Derek Stepan to improve their center, and they got Antti Ranta coming in there and their goaltending. And they're off to such a horrible start that it's totally overshadowing Clayton Keller's solid debut thus far.
If we look 8 months down the line when the award show actually is, Clayton Keller wins.
Yeah.
Who was a more underwhelming winner than Clayton Keller would be?
Ooh.
In years past. I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at the list right now.
Here. I'll join you here. Just hang on a second.
Bring up the list here because I'm looking. I'm just like, there's a couple I could say, but then I think in my head, I'm like, yeah, but I mean that year they were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost say
yeah.
Tyler Meyer. I would say.
Yeah, I would go with that too. I would have to say, I would also have to say, by the way, right now, Tyler Myers would be, I would consider my most disappointing Calder Trophy winner. Because if you go all the way back right now, I'm just looking at the ones that going back to 2001. The only other one I would say would be Andrew Raycroft in 2004. I was so disappointed with that pick because I felt that Michael Ryder should have got it.
Yes.
Michael Ryder had
I think a lot of us thought Michael Ryder should have got it.
Yeah, Raycroft.
But
No,
then he would have been a disappointment too, because after that he didn't really.
What? No. Remember, he did have a couple of 30 goals, I believe, did he not? Let me pull up Michael Ryder's stats
Look at
here.
Michael Ryder stats.
He didn't do too badly.
Unheralded 30 goals, if any.
He was consistency was his problem. Consistency. Yeah. He had 2, 3. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he had 3 30-goal seasons. Career high 35 goals and 62 points with
in Dallas
2011-12.
I guess that's why I missed it, because I don't really pay much attention to Dallas.
Well, yeah, and I mean he had a 63-point rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Very respectable totals on a Habs team that really wasn't that good. They made the playoffs that year, but they really weren't that good. 05, 06, and 06, 07, back-to-back 30-goal seasons. Then the numbers kind of fell off for him there a bit, and then he went to Boston, won a Stanley Cup there. He had respectable numbers, weren't that great, and then he goes to Dallas, I believe, as a UFA, and 35 goals, 62 points, but then after that it was injuries. Just ruined him, and but anyway. But Michael Ryder had a decent career. Andrew Raycroft just fell off.
He goes to Toronto and
because then after him, well, I mean, you look at it from 2001, Nabokov, solid career.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Heatley, he had a good career. Barrick Chapman, I would say kind of underrated, if you will. He was a solid defensive blue liner, and of course, he lives on forever in Face Off Hockey Show.
Of course, a healthy Barrett Jackman for the first overall pick. Mark always present it to get over.
That was the problem. Mark will never live that one down. But then you had Raycroft, and then after that, I mean, just look at it. I mean, you had Ovechkin, Malkin, and Patrick Kane, just 3. Unbelievable players. Steve Mason. But that rookie season he had was just phenomenal.
It was great. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah, no quibble there. Tyler Myers was kind of disappointing. Then you go Jeff Skinner, who he suffered injuries afterwards, but he's since bounced back well. Landeskog, not bad. Jonathan Huberdeau, not bad. Nathan McKinnon, and then Aaron Ekblad. Panarin, and last season, of course, Austin Matthews. So if Clayton Keller wins this, kind of unheralded. It'll be kind of unheralded in a way because it'll be overshadowed by the Coyotes having a horrible start to this season.
And I mean the rookie class this year not all that strong either.
They're not that bad though.
They're not that bad, but they're not that great. It's not. You don't have one guy breaking away.
Well, Keller is.
Well, Keller now, yeah, but
Keller's
coming into it, it's porcelain tears. Nolan Patrick.
No. I got to disagree with you there, man. I mean, look at Brock Besser, Vancouver. 14 points. I mean,
wow, you're not saying it right.
No, I am.
No. You're
it's
not
Brock Besser.
It's Brock Besser.
Oh, I'm sorry. Because the first time I called him Bozer, which I liked a lot better. Bozer, that rhymes with dozer, and that sounds destructive. But anyway,
you also have to say my client.
My client, Brock Besser. By the way, are you going to go see the dozers in the new movie Thor: Fraggle Rock? That's going to be great.
I would love to see that.
Great movie.
That'd be a movie I would love to see. I would certainly go to see it better than any of the current Thor movies because Thor.
God.
Why am I Thor?
Looking back on all the cartoons and stuff and kid shows that we had when we were kids, there were so many drugs going on that we didn't know about.
Oh my God, you think?
Yeah, but
the people who wrote those shows were remember a lot of those shows that you watch had their birth in the 80s. Sure. So there were a lot of coke going on then, and then in the 90s they started getting into
I grew up in the 80s, Lyle. You're like
that's not wrong.
I had my birth in the 70s.
Yeah, but you would have been really hitting your childhood, early teens in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and that's when you would have been seeing shit like He-Man and G.I. Joe and the Smurfs and all that.
The Smurfs. The Smurfs was such a great show until you realized just how much coke was being done.
Oh boy, yeah. But Inspector Gadget. Now Inspector Gadget kicked out. I will not hear a bad word against Inspector Gadget. There you go. And I'm saying that as a guy who was 22 years old and used to watch those during my lunch breaks between work. Yeah, go back. Yeah, a bunch of us go to lunch, and then we all go to the TV room in the barracks where we lived, and a bunch of us sitting around watching Inspector Gadget until it was time to go back to work.
Nice.
But anyway,
that's the life.
That is the life when you're in your early 20s and you're just killing time.
That's because Penny was the best.
Oh, absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So there's that.
There is that.
We talked about players going back to. Well, anyway, that devolved from Coyote John Tavares going to Arizona to Clayton Keller's bitching. Point per game, dude. I would like to put out there Mr. John Tavares to Carolina for pickup. You want to talk about the needing depth at center?
That would be interesting. Yeah.
You want to talk about needing somebody to keep them in town?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. You want to talk about a guy who wants an arena deal? Because I mean, all due respect to Victor Rask and Marcus Kruger, center not really a strong point for Carolina.
No, it definitely isn't, and they need to start doing something because they were another team that came into this season with high expectations, and I mean, not that they're playing really that badly, but well, that's not necessarily true. The last couple of weeks have been pretty rough. Yeah, last couple of weeks have been pretty rough. They were kind of 500 hockey. They're still kind of staying around 500, but they need to do something, and Ron Francis is going to have to move one of his quality defensemen. And it's going to reach a point where he got no choice, to bring in that first line center they need, because it's just not happening right now. It's just not. They need a guy who can anchor that first line at center. And if it means giving up somebody like Justin Falk to do it, or Noah Hannafin, if that's what it takes to get it, then do it. Okay? Then do it.
Fun fact, Carolina, second least amount of goals for in the league.
Yeah.
Can you name the team with the least goals for this season?
That would be your Edmonton Oilers.
My God, you want to talk about a team who's disappointing?
Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, what happened?
What happened?
Wow.
It went dry. The oil went dry.
Boy, did it! Yeah, that turns out that well wasn't as deep as they thought it was. They didn't drill far enough down.
No.
They got slow really quickly. If I can mix that metaphor, big boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, because let's face it, without McDavid and Draisaitl, they would be screwed royally right now.
They are just not a good, for some reason, just not a good. Is Cam Talbot finally coming back to earth?
Well, I think that's part of it. Oscar Klefbom is just, after he had last season and the season before, Klefbom was playing well, and last season it was finally he's having his breakthrough as a top 2 defenseman finally, and it's like he's regressed. And but they've got no scoring punch in right wing. Who knew that trading away Jordan Eberle would be such a bad idea, right? Who knew Jordan Eberle was the linchpin to their success all along?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Yeah, I mean, wow, But Ryan Strome definitely has not worked out. Lucic looks slower. Not that he was a speed demon to begin with, but he looks slower this season. Maroon, it's just not working with it. At one point, and just hang on a sec. Let me just pull this up here. The other night, what did I see here? Okay.
Does anyone else find it really, really apropos that after giving Milan Lucic that much money, the Oilers are now like crap 2 years later?
Oh, man.
Well,
But here's how desperate they got. Not their last game, not the one last night where they beat the Islanders 2-1, but the previous game. At one point in the third period, Connor McDavid was centering Drake Caggiula, Drake Caggiula, and Jussi Jokinen.
Oh boy.
That's the sign of the apocalypse, right there.
Can I buy a consonant in that?
Oh man, but that's just that. I mean, how desperate do you have to be when that's the line you're putting out at even strength in the third period? I mean, brutal. That game they played against Detroit, I watched that game, and I was floored by just how piss poor they looked. I mean, there was no drive, no energy, just you know, you could see this is a team that's just reeling right now.
Wonder why that is.
Mm.
I wonder.
Well, they better find that mojo soon. I mean, say what you will about, like, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, you know, how the Rangers and the Canadians were struggling. But in the last 2 weeks, those two teams, as expected, have regained their form, and they're climbing back up in the standings. Whereas the Oilers, I was mentioning them in the same breath 2 weeks ago, and they're still spinning their wheels. And if they don't get moving here soon, they're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
You know, they can't keep going the way they're going here.
No, you have
I mean,
to.
they can.
Well, yeah, but they can't. Let me rephrase it. They can't keep going the way they're going and expect to make the playoffs. I know the playoffs are still months away, but as we all know, judging by you go by the Elliott Friedman system, that something like I believe what is it is you know, teams that are under 500 by Thanksgiving, 80% of them will not make the playoffs.
That is true.
Yep.
American Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yes, American Thanksgiving. Yeah, not Canadian one. American Thanksgiving. You get to the last weekend in November, kids. If your team is under 500, they only got about a 20, maybe 25% chance that they're lucky of making the playoffs.
Yeah, the Caps were one of those teams that the first year that Boudreau came in, they fired I forgot his name.
Glenn Hanlon.
Was that Glenn Hanlon still?
Yeah. No. What wasn't Hanlon?
Yeah.
No.
No, it was Glenn Hanlon.
Yeah, no, I think it was.
Glenn Hanlon got fired because Mark or Sean was saying that he had nothing against cancer.
That's right. Yes.
But he got fired on, like, Boudreau started on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And the Caps made it literally on the last day of the regular season.
It can happen. It can happen. I mean, 2 years ago, the Anaheim Ducks were at the bottom of the Western Conference standings going into December. They were and we were writing them off, and then they caught fire, by late December, and they turned around and finished atop the Pacific Division. So, it can happen, but in most cases, kind of, sort of not.
Yeah, it's very, very few and far between.
By the way, can I just get very quickly 280 characters, for or against, pro or con?
I'm with it.
Is that what it was doing? So I'm so out of touch. So tonight I started typing, right? And it gave me this circle instead of counting characters. And I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't know what the circle means, but it hasn't told me to stop yet. So I kept going, and I just said what I needed to say, and I sent it out from the Face Off Hockey Show thing. Interesting.
There you go.
So all of the editing and creativity in order to put your thoughts into a concise and 140 character or less thought is now gone straight out the window.
Yeah,
it's completely gone, brother.
Because my exact first thought when I saw this circle is, I don't know what the character limit is, but this allows them to make a character limit of whatever they want. If it doesn't actually count a character limit, the circle can just continue to be updated so that it just counts and comes across. No matter what they make the total, it'll just do the same thing over and over again. And at that point, our mind is trained that the circle is just going to tell you when you end. They can make it 560 characters. They can make it 1,000 characters. You can write a short essay on Twitter at some point, but you're never going to know the difference after this update.
Yeah. Well, all I know is I'm going to keep trying to keep it to within as close to 140 characters as possible. I got used to it. It took me a long time to get used to try and keep it all down to within 140 characters.
But wow, you have that extra 140 now. You wanted to add that extra period. You don't have to cut down periods or use numbers for one.
Great. Now I can go ellipses crazy.
Oh, ellipses is the way to be.
There you go, kids. There we are.
Ellipses is one of the Greek gods.
I think so. He was the god of pauses.
So basically the god that Nate Lewis took after.
Exactly. It is Nate Lewis. He played ellipses in college. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a fun time here, aren't we? Lyle, we talked a little bit about this earlier about players going back to juniors, if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Then we try to fix the draft system. Did you hear any of that by chance? Because Mark had a great point before he high-ended out of here. That's a good one. Gun cannon. I love you. Anyway, the portion is this: is that if you decide to declare for the draft, you lose all your eligibility at major juniors and college level. I think that would be hard for major juniors because that within itself is a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And college, I could see college doing that. Although it's a very gray area when they have advisors instead of agents. So
yeah, not agents, advisors. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, I just the advisors. Yeah. No, I still want to see them. Geez, you know, if it's up to me, I would raise the draft age to 20, and but with you'd have to have special exemptions if you could work that in. I mean, you got a kid that's somebody like a Connor McDavid, an Austin Matthews, Sidney Crosby, and Alex Ovechkin, guys that are obviously NHL ready, then I think you should allow for, one exemption if possible. I'm not quite sure how you get it, but there's so many of these kids who come in, like I said, at 18, they're just not ready, and they get rushed, and it can do more harm than good. I mean, some of them, they struggle, but then they can come back and they play well. I mean, a most obvious example for me, and I'm going back a bit here, 20 years, but Joe Thornton. I mean, the Bruins rushed him in his first season clearly before he was ready. He could have benefited from one more year in junior. But he was one of those players, though, who was able to bounce back in his sophomore season. He learned from it, and he was able to take from that and rebound and come back strong. But there's, for every kid like a Joe Thornton who's able to do that, there's a dozen others who basically get ruined, because they're rushed well before they're ready. I mean, not every kid is going to be an Austin Matthews or, what have you. Now you can make the case, say, well, look at by that logic, Nico Hischier wouldn't be in the NHL right now. But I don't think it will hurt either way, one way or the other in that way. I mean, if you kept him there till he was 20, you'd have a kid who'd still be even better. But I can also see the case to go to 19. But I definitely would like to see the age raised by 1 year. I don't like seeing these kids being selected at 18. At the very least, go to 19. But go to 18 and just have kind of special dispensation for these can't miss kids.
And you can also extend
like
that
Chris
to
Beach.
Exactly, can't miss Chris Beach.
Yeah, Chris Beach.
That entire 2000 draft class.
Oh wow! How many of those kids would have benefited from going back to junior for a year or two?
Well, I mean, you could even extend that to Yakupov too.
Yeah,
here's a guy who boy howdy, like he started off a little bit on fire and then. But in that instance too, I would also make the case that he was with a really, really bad team. Yeah,
that didn't do him. That was a friggin' carousel of coaching changes. Every year it was a different coach. There was no sense of continuity during his years there. So by the time that you have Chiarelli coming in and he brings in I just went blank. Oilers coach, please. Name.
McLennan.
Todd, thank you.
Brian McLennan.
Todd McLennan. Once he brings him in, but seriously, by the time they that those guys came onto the scene, 2015-16, Yakupov was ruined. He had they had no real direction. And like I said, it just did him no good. Now, I'm not trying to let the kid totally off the hook. I mean, yes, some of this is on him. You could say, yeah, a good portion of it is. But the Oilers did him no favors with just that tire fire that they had there before running the team. It was an absolute mess. So you really have to be careful, with these kids. If you're going to bring them in, my God, bring them in where there's stability. I mean, Clayton Keller's doing really well right now in Arizona. I hope to God that he's going to become, another great young player, that he can maintain what he's doing right now. because oh man, if they turn around after this season, if there's a big house cleaning, and if they turn around and they fire Tocchet and they fire Chayka as management, bring in another management, another coach, that could just ruin that kid. Depending on who they bring in, it could absolutely ruin him. So they've got to be really careful. You got to be careful with these youngsters, because some of them, boy, you could have a kid who needs a bit of work, but could maybe blossom into a star. But with poor coaching and just incompetent management, not being able to surround them with character guys that can help them out, or depth of talent to help them shoulder the load, you can ruin them.
I mean, we were talking earlier about Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele now.
Mm-hmm.
How well they're doing, and how this is like 10 years after Blake Wheeler came into the league.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
Wheeler's been there forever.
Well, Blake Wheeler came in 2011, 2010, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
At 12.
Yeah. But but to be fair, I will give the Jets some props that way. I mean, we harp on how there's like no change there or anything like that, but when it comes to Wheeler and Scheifele, having that continuity there, behind the bench in the front office, it's kind of worked to their advantage.
Yeah, exactly. And I think not playing Steve Mason helps to their advantage too.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I sure hope that this is Connor Hellebuck having that long-awaited breakout season, and that by mid-season he doesn't start to fall apart, because we have seen this from him before, and well, not quite this good, but showing that promise, and then the wheels come off. But maybe this is the season he's got, because if he does, then my God, I like their chances. Well, they're 8-3-3. That's a damn good start. They're off to the best start, I think, even since their Atlanta days, I think. Yeah.
So it's been an interesting point on their part. And
I just say, man, I can't get over how much Mark Scheifele has changed since we saw him get drafted 2011. He's just gawky looking kid, and you just, like I said, he was taking 10th, I think.
Yep.
And my God, he is just a beast out there now.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and he has a logo on his jersey now, so that's always a plus positive for him as well.
See, does wonders for your self-esteem.
Exactly. Lau, we got anything? You got any bag of fun that we may have missed out on? I mean, obviously the Duchesne trade being the thing that really stuck out to everyone this month or this week.
This month.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to rule the roost for the rest of the month. It does go. I will just say to the point, it does go to show that even in a salary cap era where there is a will, there's a way. And in this case, of course, the way was bringing in a third team to get it done. But because this is the biggest move since the Joe Thornton trade back in 2005. For early season,
this early in the season.
In season. I mean, the last one of any significance was in 2013, and that was Thomas Vanek for Matt Molson back when they were both still good.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't on the same scale as this. When I saw that one come down the pipe, when I said Duchesne traded, I was like, oh God, and it was like, did they actually stay with it? And props to Elliot Friedman on that, because, when it was first reported on Friday that there was those three teams were talking, I mean, everybody was saying, well, they had talked, it was close, but the deal fell apart. They weren't close as far as Colorado was concerned, blah, blah, blah. And it all fell apart. And it does look like you're going to revisit it for the foreseeable future. But 24 hours later, Elliot Friedman was saying, he said, guys, I get the sense that this isn't dead yet. And boom. 24 hours later, hey, it happened, and quite the return. So, again, a salary cap hinders what you can do. But again, if you got GMs who are willing to be creative to make it happen, I mean, let's face it, Dorian got what he wanted. David Poyle definitely got what he wanted, and Sakic got what he wanted. So, if I don't know if this is going to mean we'll start seeing more 3-team deals, but it does kind of set a template for other clubs if they're trying to look at improving and moving guys, but if they don't feel that they can get a return from a team that's interested, if they can maybe get a third guy in there, that maybe this kind of sets a template for maybe future early season moves.
Yeah, could definitely be something. Oh, go ahead.
So the random part that I had, just the way that I think, is there a limit on teams that can trade? Like, could you even add a fourth team into this mix just for shits and
Oh, for
giggles?
sure.
I'm
Like,
sure
how-
you could. I mean, it would be difficult, but I'm sure you
Like
could.
at that point, you have color coded lines, right? Like
could-
where things are going. But like,
You could flip.
In all honesty, as long as the money works out, I think you
As long
can.
as the money works out and it's blessed by the league, if the league, because it's got to go be reviewed. Obviously, the league has to review it and approve it. The trade call has to go through to the league, and once they approve it, but I could see
because the most interesting part of this entire deal to me was that there are picks that went to the Avalanche from both teams.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. And that's allowable just in order to make the deal work. Because and if that. When that deal comes across their desk there at NHL headquarters, I mean, it's obvious it's benefiting all three teams. The one big factor in this is it can't be too lopsided. If this had been, one team getting a superstar and another team's getting nothing but garbage, but it looks like a lot, the league could turn around and shut it down. They can go, nope, that deal is rejected. Go back and try again. We don't feel it's favorable enough. But it's obvious looking at this one that this deal works for all three. This wasn't a case of Colorado trying to tank a season. That move is not, they're playing better than expected. Everybody knows Duchesne wasn't happy there, that he wanted to move on. It was becoming uncomfortable in the dressing room. They evidently, the league looks at it, they can go, well, we don't see where this is really going to hurt them that much. It's not like we've just traded, the biggest star ever, and without them, they're going to crash and burn. Well, no, that's not going to be the case. I think they're going to be all right. It obviously benefits the Sens, obviously benefits the Preds. So yeah, with both teams sending picks and prospects and, to the Avs, it just mutually benefits all three. So yeah, you see that come across your desk. If I was in NHL headquarters, I'd go, yeah, that works, sure, why not?
And it's not as if like obviously they had to hear the rumors too, and they're like everyone.
Oh god,
and then it comes out where it's just like, oh yeah, he wanted to be gone since last year, like Christmas. So
he wanted to be gone 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago. So
yeah,
why wouldn't you at that point? Why wouldn't you not? Let me see here. Trying to look around and see if we can play a little game ski here.
Whee!
I know that we have some Caps programs.
We have some skipjacks programs, sir.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, and there's not much here. In all honesty, they don't have the cool profile. It's more facts and figures. Mark Hatcher. My God. So the older brother of Kevin Hatcher. This is 88-89. 6'7", 260. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
The year before he was out of hockey. So we have we got Bill Holder on this team. We got Dave Farish. We got Dallas Eakins. Wow, we got a who's who of who cares. John Druce on this team.
John Druce, the playoff hero.
Lou Francis Getty. And current TSN analyst Sean Simpson also on this Capitals team. The problem with this Capitals or on the Skipjacks team, the Capitals Skipjacks era, is that there's not much promise here. There's just a big write-up about Terry Murray, and then just NHL Goal Magazine strewed in through here. There's like an article about Grant Fuhr and Darren Pang, and it's very bizarre. And then you have the 83-84 Cap Skipjacks thing. It doesn't give anything at all. I'm kind of pissed off at it, but hey, it's for a project that never see the light of day.
But that was the Penguins one, right?
That was the Penguins one. So
very, very quickly, guys.
Please.
Can I just throw in here very, very quickly?
Throw it in.
Patrick Marleau, turning to the present very quickly, of your Toronto Maple Leafs, scored his 514th career goal. Guess who he passed on the list to take sole possession of 39th on the all-time list?
Joe Thornton.
No. What makes this even better? He passes Jeremy Roenick.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, no, the reason for that is because JR in his self-serving autobiography basically badmouthed Patty Marleau, saying he was the worst one of the worst players or something like that he'd ever played with or against, because he just didn't like his attitude, felt that he didn't care. Said when I first got to the Sharks, because of course he plays final 2 seasons of Sharks. When I first got to the Sharks, I went out to his house because I wanted to talk to him about, how we could be better and blah, blah, blah. And he said, after 10 minutes of sitting there, I could tell that he just didn't want me there. He didn't want to hear what I had to say. The guy has no motivation, blah, blah, blah. Well, he was motivated enough to pass your ass, Jeremy.
Yeah, let's be honest. Jeremy Roenick's terrible.
Jeremy Roenick, I like Jeremy Roenick as a player. And yes, he's outspoken and he's certainly entitled to that. But, sometimes open mouth and serve both feet.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be great though if Marleau, like, just right now was like, you know what, I'm gonna retire. That's all I really wanted to accomplish.
That's all I really want. Yeah, I can drop this is the mic drop moment right now. Yeah. Oh, hey, one of our on the group chat there, Guncan wants to know, any of those skipjack programs have any info on Mike Richards, Scotty?
Which Mike Richards?
That would be the question here. Which Mike Richards?
Mike Richards. Oh,
Brian said, yeah, I went to a Caps game and got starstruck when he saw Mark.
Well, these things happen.
Yeah, I get starstruck when I see Mark.
Yeah, because you think he's Johnny.
No. That's don't be confusing me with Leahy.
The only thing they have about Mike Richard is that he played. They just have that he signed as a free agent in October of 1987. He was 5'10", 175. Played for Toronto in the OHL for 3 seasons before coming to Baltimore, and then he split between Binghamton and Washington because the Binghamton Whalers were a split affiliation for the Caps and the Whalers in 1987-88. No bio information, sadly. Like I said, the only bio information is of Mr. Terry Murray, and then this terrible, horrifying picture of the Capitals or the Skipjacks mascot, Skipper the Jack, I think it is. I don't know.
Oh my God!
Some kind of groundhog, some kind of something. I don't know what the hell it is.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. I realize that's the '80s. I get it.
Yeah.
But is there anything scarier than a mascot that has a normal sized body and jersey? Like, I feel like just the random head with this is just a guy standing there with a massive head. Like, that makes it more scary to me.
Kind of a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, if your mascot is massive head wound Harry, then yeah, that's very frightening.
It's a little frightening.
That picture to me is scary because it's like, hey, I got this head on, but I'm wearing a size medium jersey. So it's obviously a person, right? So that had to be nightmare inducing. I mean, it's not like Florida Panthers nightmare inducing, but it has to be close.
No, I can dig what you're laying down there. Yeah. Yeah. It's just this oversized kind of head on a normal sized body as a mascot.
I do have a 1963
human head.
I have a 1963-64 Baltimore Clippers program coming, so maybe there'll be a little bit more insight there.
That could be interesting.
That is total old school.
Mm-hmm.
In the sheer fact, I'm going to see if who's on this team. I think John Rattel played on this team.
Go away, really?
Yeah.
I'm so old. I remember John Rattel in his prime.
Right, back in the day.
I remember when he played for the Rangers. That's how old I am, kids.
Oh no, I want the roster. You sons of bitches. Jesus H. Christ, is it that hard?
Which one are you looking at?
Jean Rattel played for the Baltimore Clippers in 63-64.
Nice.
As did Aldo Goyan. He was also the player coach. If you don't remember him, well, you're not wrong in not remembering him. He played only 182 NHL games, all with the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Who other? Gilles Villemere.
Yes, goaltender with the Rangers. I get the feeling that the Baltimore franchise was a Rangers farm team. Am I correct, sir?
I believe they were. A lot of them.
Well, Villemere and Rattel definitely came from there.
Ken Sninkle.
Yep.
Yep.
He wound up playing with Pittsburgh, I believe.
Brian Hextall.
Yeah.
Big bad Brian Hextall was there. And the other goalie was Gilles Boisvert. Boisvert.
Boy Bear.
Yeah.
Should Boy Bear.
So there you go. So I'll have something coming on that one. Hooray! Again, a project that's never going to see the light of day.
Oh, you say it, but you don't mean it.
I say it, and I partially mean it because I know my motivation. And it's not there. God, is it not there? Yeah. So yeah, Brian Hextall, and I was like, wait, is that of the Hextall family that does UND stuff? No, that's not. Just like how the Lamoureux guy, who's Mitch Lamoureux, is not part of the Lamoureux family from Grand Forks. I'm just like, well, that would be an easy snag. Nope, can't be easy. Got to be hard. Great, sweet. And then Brian Murray passed away, and he would have been an invaluable knowledge, but now I can't get anything out of that. So I had to go to Terry Murray. Just like so many Capitals coaching changes before him. So here we are. Oh, Lyle, what has your first month been, Lyle, in terms of the season? What have you seen play out? What have you liked? What have you not liked?
Well, I mean, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I keep harping about the Coyotes, but that was one. Oilers, that's another one. They're not playing well. Florida Panthers, big time disappointment. I expected to see improvement from them this season, and so far, that's a whole lot.
They have, 8 more years to pay Bobby Lou?
Wow. It only feels like it, I think. Now about 5 more, I think. But anyway, it's a long time. I like what I've been seeing so far out of the New Jersey Devils. Good to see them at least looking relevant. I hope that they can maintain it, but tough road ahead with that defense still, even with Will Butcher on there. Teams that we expected to at least, as playoff contenders off to shaky starts. I mean, like I said, Rangers and Habs, but they've turned it around. Good God, Stamkos and Kucherov.
Oh boy!
Right now, ooh boy, that's double lightning hitting your ass, man. They're off to just a phenomenal start. I'm not surprised to see the Lightning playing as well as they are, and I expected Stamkos would come back in a big way, and I expected Kucherov would be, but oh man, they're just taking right off. And Toronto still got defensive issues. No surprise there. Yeah, Scheifele and Wheeler, they're looking pretty good. I'd say they're probably right now, Scheifele and Wheeler about second best right now for a 1-2 punch offensive punch, man.
Statistically, they are.
Yeah, but even more so than that, But hey, give it up to the Blues too, man. I mean, they had 6 guys out of the roster to start the season, 6 regulars. And here they are, I believe, last I looked, first in the Western Conference. Jaden Schwartz coming into his own. As a playmaker, he's among the top 5 scorers, I believe. He's certainly the Blues' leading scorer. Hello, he's even leading Tarasenko.
Yeah.
And that's another line. Tarasenko, boy, Braden Shen has really meshed well with those two.
Yeah.
And Alex Pietrangelo, right now he's my early favorite for the Norris Trophy. He has just been dominant at both ends of the ice. I mean, he's off to the best start of his career.
Yeah, he's been quite fantastic, and. You can see with Kevin Shattenkirk not being there and him having to step up into a bigger role.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's embraced it, and I mean, God, I hope he can keep it up because he's always been among the best, of this generation of NHL defensemen, but largely unheralded. He's been overshadowed by guys like Erik Karlsson and Brent Burns and Drew Doughty and Duncan Keith, and for obvious reasons. I mean, those are great defensemen. But Pietrangelo, I mean, he deserves to be in that group, to be mentioned in the same breath with those guys. So I'm hoping that that this is going to be a career year for him, and that he gets some long overdue recognition for it.
There we go. Johnny, how do you like the Caps playing so far?
This is all we need to know.
I feel like they're exactly where I thought they would be.
Really?
I didn't think that they would be that good.
Oh.
I think that they would be fighting to try to get one of the wild card spots. And I feel like that I actually told somebody before this season that if they put it all together in January, I would be okay with that. So the fact that they have lost multiple back-to-back, the backside of back-to-back games at this point, because they're not scoring goals, means nothing to me right now. Because I just don't. I saw with all of the changes coming in, and the defense being most of the changes, right? That it was going to take time. It was going to be the old Capitals team. It wasn't going to be the new team that we were all used to. It would be the team that we used to joke around that was like, oh, it's 2018 now. The Capitals are going to show up and play for the rest of the season, because they were so terrible in November and December anyway, that like most of the time you were used to them having really shitty slow starts. So I just don't think that they're that far off from what I expected them to be. I think that they're showing glimpses of brilliance. I think that Ovi's still scoring goals, which is fantastic.
Did go for a little slide there for a bit, although the Caps didn't play. Caps didn't play for a bit there too either. So
yeah, well, I mean, let's face it too. I mean, he started off with like 7 goals in his first 2 games. 9 in his first 5 all told, and then it just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 since then. But he has scored in his last 3, each of his last 3.
You had to figure it was going to regress to the mean soon enough.
Yeah, he had like a bit of a slide there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had about an 8-game stretch where he only had 1 goal. But seems to have recovered. Seems to be recovering nicely.
Absolutely. All right,
but yeah, I'm going to go with they are what we expected them to be.
Crown their asses. All right, kids, let's get to the pickup segment.
Sure. Let's do this thing.
Last week's winner in the OHL was me. 17 for the Mississauga Wagga 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 Steelheads. 11 for Lyle and the Sarnia, the men they call Sting. Johnny's 3rd place with the Hamilton Bulldogs, and Mark last, Owen Sound with 6. This week, a bit of a interesting thing we're going with here. The NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association. By and large, I think almost 60 teams, 58 teams, I believe.
Hold on, I have it in Excel document. Let me check real quick.
Johnny has an Excel document.
Hunker down. This is going to take a while.
I have a count of 60 teams in the men's Division 1.
60 teams. So 4 short. Or 8 short of what's in March Madness every year.
Right.
So you have your pick.
That I got from USCHO.com.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Also, if you're scoring at home, or if you're alone, if you're a big college hockey fan, go to the Christ, now I have to find the damn thing. Find the freaking, because Jen made a shirt. And we have but what does it do for the pairwise? A question that a lot of people, the pairwise could be the worst thing to happen in college hockey because it's a strength of schedule situation. So you have to do strength of schedule, you have to do this, that, and the other thing. And I know the SID at UND loves wise, and by
the
loves
SID at UND is such a great fucking title.
Right? It's fantastic. So it's teespring.com. Get your pairwise ranking is / get your pairwise. Get -your -pairwise ranking. Whew, that's a lot of words. Only until tomorrow, apparently, but they say they re-up. I'm very confused with how Teespring works. So if you want to get your shirt, go get it there. Jen did a fantastic, and it's got the Soderstrom bubble tag on there as well. So
yeah.
Right. All right. So Mark with the C picks first. He is not here.
No, he's angry right now.
What's that?
He's angry.
Is it with the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy. Yeah. So we got ourselves what we have. Luckily, we have his gimmick. His gimmick. He picks the most central team in all of the thing. I've got a circle around of where I think he should go. And I think he would go for this one a little bit better than anything else because he's a big John Hughes fan. He's going for Save Ferris State. So he is going with Ferris State.
Nice.
In Ferris State, Michigan. I actually don't know where Ferris State is. It's in Michigan. I know that much. They're there. don't even know what conference they're in. Holy shit! Hold on. That's even better. They're last place in the WCHA. They're doing great this year.
There you go. There you go.
So that leaves it up to Johnny P. Johnny, you've done a fantastic amount of work in this.
Okay, so this is where we're going to go with this. I tried to be as scientific as possible with this one. It took into account characters. And I counted spaces as characters on this one, just because it makes it easier to work with. There are 6 teams where the school length and the mascot length are exactly the same. Surprisingly enough, I have a dice app on my phone, which will help me out. So number 1 on the dice will be the Bentley Falcons.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Number 2, the Brown Bears. Number 3 is Colgate Raiders. Number 4 is the Cornell Big Red.
A lot of Ivy League.
5, Dartmouth Big Green. And 6 is Harvard Crimson. Magic die, what do you say? We got number 4. Number 4, Colgate Raiders.
All right.
So, hold on. Number 4 is the Cornell Big Red. Sorry.
Cornell Big Red.
They went to a school, Cornell. You ever heard of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lyle, you are up.
Okay. Well, of course, as you know, I stick with my wrestling theme here. It's hockey and wrestling. My 2 passions. By the way, after this is over, I'm going to be watching ESPN 30 for 30, Ric Flair.
I heard
looks like it's fantastic.
I heard there's a lot of rehashing, but I heard it's also great.
Yeah.
So
I am looking forward to this. But anyway, so sticking with my wrestling theme, I am going to take the Harvard Crimson Mask.
I think that's a really good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, of course, I can go with the easy layup. I'll be seeing them this weekend. Could go with like I did back when I lived in Calgary and hit that way.
Mm-hmm.
Something telling me not to do that.
Oh.
Something's telling me. Something in my head is telling me, you know what? Listen, stupid. Don't do that. Something's telling me, go Baltimore. Go to Baltimore. Baltimore. Like, what the hell do you mean, head? Like, listen, asshole. Figure out who played in Baltimore and who you went to school with. And that, his brother went to a big double NCAA town. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So Tim Judy was a big Mount St. Joe hockey player. He went to Northeastern in the Hockey East area. I think he won a bean pot as well. So I'm going to go with Northeastern in the Hockey East area. There you go. Northeastern. Everyone's happy.
There we go.
We did it. We did it, kids. We've done another show.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun, sir.
As always.
We will talk to you again next week, and maybe another big trade. Who knows? John Tavares to Carolina. Be fantastic.
Carolina. Book it.
Book it done. There we
That's
go.
a pretty big. Yeah, it's my lock of the week. That's a pretty big lock.
It's a really big lock.
It's a really big. All righty, guys. Have a good week. All the best. Hopefully, Mark gets his mic issue sorted out.
Oh, we all hope. We'll see you then, there, Lyle.
See you next week, guys.
Here he goes. Lyle Richardson, SpectorsHockey.net, thehockeynews.com, PIGAR that I got it. And of course, Bleacher Report for those slideshows. Johnny, hit me with some shout outs.
All right. I'm going to give a shout out to the live chat tonight. People were on fire. We had Brian on, we had Eddie Van Haskell on, and we had Gun Cannon on. They were all talking about stuff, trying to get me to talk about things during the show, which I'm doing a great job of producing. Throwing that out there. Mark wants to give a shout out to the Blue Yeti USB microphone that he's going to be getting for next week show. Don't know what that means. Maybe he's giving up. I'm not sure.
I will tell him he might run into the same problem that I ran into as well. So,
I at this point I don't want to add fuel to the fire.
He is not a happy camper in this one, is he?
Well, let's be completely honest, since he doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah.
I told him not to buy the box he bought.
No.
So it's his own fault,
Yeah,
really.
it really
I told him
is.
to buy the old box that I have that I knew worked with Windows 10 and everything worked fine.
So essentially, it's the box. The box.
I think it's the box. To be honest, I told him that he can try the old box, the one that's still here. Now, I will say last week or 2 weeks ago, when we were having technical issues, I also had a technical issue with the box that wasn't picking up the condenser mic. So I don't know about that. I don't know what's going on. I haven't tried it since though. I bet if I tried it again, it would work. I have a shout out to Italy. Big week for Italian soccer. Playoff. UEFA playoff against Sweden. Games are Friday and Monday. If you win on aggregate, you go to the World Cup. So let's see. I mean, this could be a really good week or a really bad week. The U.S. has already not qualified for the World Cup. So the second team that I follow could also not qualify for the World Cup this week.
Well then.
So hey, we'll see what happens. That's probably it. I think that's
sweet.
I think that's it. I have a shout out. I do have a shout out. Also, I have a date for the death wedding now.
Hey.
Yeah. Yep. So got that going for me as well. I didn't find a date to Sean's wedding, but I found a date to the death wedding. So,
well, you know, everyone wants to go see Death get married. I don't know what that means.
She doesn't even know him.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Then in that case, I will give shout outs to our Patreon supporters. Mitch, Sean, Rob, Chris, Trista, and Angela. Thank you guys so much for helping us out, getting some stuff into us, and we appreciate your support. We will be doing, if you get to that OV tier and you want a Q&A, we will be doing that, I guess, towards the end of the month. Beginning of next month, we'll set a date and time. We'll keep you updated on the Patreon. Patreon.com/FaceOffHockeyShow. If you guys want to join in the fun, get your dollar shout outs, get your tiers if you want to get your listen, here's the thing. We love you guys listening anyway. If you don't have the money or the means to do so, we understand. We've all been there. We still love you. We're not going to think of you. We're just saying, hey, you want to throw extra in our tip jar? Throw it in there. We would appreciate it. And if not, just listen to the ads on Blog Talk Radio, and then we'll appreciate that too, because that gets us a little funding too.
While you're at it too, if you want to throw up I already switched to the other show. Sorry. If you want to throw up an iTunes review, that helps us as well.
Exactly. 5-star rating, baby. Just like Rob Van Dam off that top rope. 5-star splash, baby. I got really nothing else. I got some stuff coming for this next week, but nothing else right now. We'll have a new SodaStream bubble this weekend, though, because I slept most of Sunday, and it was great. So that's it. That's all for Johnny P. Mark with the Sam. Scotty Watts. Take care of yourself. And someone else has been Face Off Hockey Show on FaceOffHockeyShow.com. You can find us on the Twitter, Twitter.com/FaceOffHDKY Show, Facebook.com/FOHS Radio, and of course, like I said, Patreon.com/FaceOffHockeyShow. Till then, folks. Till next week. We're done. Love you guys. Peace.
Jump out the truck, keep the music loud so we can amp up. Lock up the ride, make tracks in the snow. Perfect day frames, this is how it goes. It's a left for you to be the right for me. I'm out with the boys surfing in the full of sea. If it doesn't get better, my waist down and stumbling. We'll be getting jacked while the rest of you are shoveling. Empty lineups, far as I can see. The surface paradise without the palm trees. Come on, roll.